Hello, hello. I am Ben Pick, and thank you for joining me in Running to Write, where I give questionable writing advice through writing metaphors. Today I'm discussing how to add romance into the other genres that we write. I want to start by stating I'm not a romance author. Most of these comments and tips are derived from the fantasy and science fiction books I read, where there happens to be a romantic subplot. Whether these moments elevate or detract from the story are my opinion, and I've gone on record within this channel stating how more often than not, I don't think these moments work. Stories all about adventure and epic combat have an unfortunate tendency to hit an abrupt halt as soon as they dip their toe into romance. All the built-up drama and tension gets tossed aside as soon as two people, often with compatible parts, enter the same room. There's no suspense because based on a few key phrases within that meet cute, the characters will fall in love and be the person's reward for surviving the ordeal. Thus, all word counts spent devoted to the romance feel wasted because we know what's going to happen. Especially when the significant other has no impact on the story. Or worse, is the reason the hero acts against their own defined self-interests. In the novels I typically read, the romance, more so than the power fantasy aspects, feel to me like wish fulfillment and unreasonable expectations. If there's drama surrounding the courtship or a reason they can't immediately get together, usually a single sentence or a short conversation would be able to absolve both parties of whatever is holding them back. Once that relatively minor issue is out of the way, the romance can go back to stalling for page counts as it marches towards its eventual, predictable conclusion. Except when it doesn't. The best stories contain romance moments where the plot beats don't play out exactly like I expect them to. Here's how those stories did it right. Number 1, take it out. Go through the effort of removing the romance subplot. Don't actually do it, but think about what would happen if the romance were removed. Then ask yourself, does the plot still work? Do the relationships still make sense? If things are going well, are the characters happier in other scenes? Do they communicate better together? Are they in sync while fighting the big bad? Alternatively, when the romance is under stress or is otherwise awkward, are the characters distracted during their fight scene, which leads to them losing and hitting the lowest point in the story? Make the romance pivotal, a single moment about which all other relationships revolve. That's an exaggeration, but something worth considering. Number 2, more than plot. A romantic partner should do more than be present. They should advance the plot and especially not be a hindrance. Rather than holding another main character back or poking holes in their plan, they are standing side by side as an equal. Better yet, they complement each other both with words and personality. That's why a fighter and sorcerer combination is so deadly as an unstoppable offensive force. Also, I meant multiple definitions of the word complement, as the characters should say support things to each other without sounding forced. Or the characters can have a fight which leads to them discovering the next clue. Either way, this invests me more in their relationship by showing how they resolve conflicts together and solve the problems that they're faced with. Number 3, don't be inevitable. Is the narrator sexualizing another character upon meeting them? If so, then they are all but guaranteed to end up together by the end of the book. In Codex Alera, this was really uncomfortable because the narrator was sexualizing another character before they knew whether or not they were remotely human. Not only was this predictable even before the narrator realized he was alone with a person of the opposite gender, but it came off as offensive to me. The narrator used certain condescending descriptions for the other person because their people were at war, or at least there was friction between their people. All while he was commenting on their physical traits in a way he hadn't done for anyone else. That shifted into overdrive when he realized that she was a she and about the same age as the narrator. I'm not even going to go into the sexualization of the female characters in Dresden Files, which is easily the worst part of the series. This trait did improve over time, but there is an inexcusable amount of uncomfortable descriptions involving Dresden's friend's daughter. Those moments could have been surgically removed and the stories would have been better for doing so. Dresden is also known for the inevitable collapse. If he has a solid romantic relationship, it will fail by the end of the book. If he's saying the right things and there isn't much relationship drama, I have bad news for you. There's likely about to be a plot-related reason why they can't be together, such as death. In this way, the inevitable isn't a successful romantic relationship, but rather its destruction. Since we can deduce the results of the romantic relationship at its start, word counts devoted to its progression lack their intended gut punch. That's my opinion, and I know people disagree, but I felt the weakest parts of Codex Alera and the Dresden Files were their romantic relationships, or the doomed relationships, because I could see how they were going to end. Number 4, do something different. Instead of having two people meet, instantly be attracted to the other, and over the course of the novel fall in love, why not have them be in an established relationship? That existing emotional depth can be used to reinforce the character's trust, or show that they know the other person's beliefs, thoughts, and actions as well as they know their own. Really important here, do what you can to not kill off or break up this couple. I know on the surface it seems like an established couple in a healthy relationship doesn't have much inherent drama. By comparison, it can feel faded and dull when it doesn't have the sparking moment of the meet cute. Trust me, this can be much more interesting on a character level by showing us something I rarely see in the books I read. A long-term, healthy relationship. Number 5, relationships mirror the theme. If a character is struggling to take charge in their life, or has a fear of abandonment, or lacks confidence, or any number of reasonable flaws, that should carry through into their relationships. Romance is a perfect tool to show a character evolving beyond their deficiencies. Compared to the end of the world, it is relatively low risk. So through their romantic relationship, we can see the character being built up into a person who will save the world. By finding the courage to pursue their emotional desires with a romantic partner, the nervous hero may rise up to do what they know needs to be done in order to stop the antagonist. I'd be careful with this one, as it feels very easy to fall into a trap where the relationship is a reward, or write in a way to make it unnecessary. Instead, why not listen to my 6th and last tip, which is throw out the rules. Romance is chaotic. All the points I've given thus far likely won't directly apply to your stories. Besides, those characters are your creations. Do what you need to in order to make them feel real. Those are my 6 tips to add a little romance to our non-romance stories. I am Ben Pick, and thank you for joining me in Running to Write. If you enjoy my thoughts on romance and other genres, please press those like and subscribe buttons. Let me know in the comments if and how you include romance in the stories you write. Of my 2 published works, one has a romance subplot and one doesn't. I post my running and writing progress on Instagram and Twitter as Running to Write, so be sure to follow me and join in with your own thoughts. Don't forget to sign up for the Running to Write monthly newsletter if you want regular updates on my story musings, pitfalls, and lessons learned. The link is in the description below. See you next time. Until then, bake a spicy romance into your novels. If you want to.